So here's a hot take for you. Raya and the Last Dragon had very bad morals. I know I'm not the first and only one to bring that up. I'm actually presently surprised that so many realize the bad moral that this movie had. If you turn off your head somewhat, you can have a lot of fun with Raya. And I'm not gonna judge. There are quite a lot of movies that will hurt your brain if you think about them too much. And I still unironically love to watch them because of their entertainment value. And if that is the case for you and Raya, I'm genuinely happy for you. However, let's be honest here. They did not deliver the message that they wanted to deliver. It's not a groundbreaking take, but I still wanted to bring everything together into a concise list with parts and stuff. So first, instead of retelling the plot in case you need a reminder, I am instead going to tell you the story that the developers think they made. Okay? Okay, let's go. So, Raya and her father are from one of 5 civilizations, and they are guarding a powerful and popular MacGuffin. One day she trusts a girl named Nymari and shows her the MacGuffin gem, gets betrayed by her, and as a result the world goes to shit. So in post-apocalyptic Mad Raya Fury Road, our protagonist has grown to be distrusting of others, and by meeting this dragon Sisu, who values trust over everything, she has to learn to trust in people again, because this is what will make the world and the MacGuffin whole again. Already, in this little summary, which is deliberately in favor of Raya's framing, there already is something crucially wrong with this story. Contradicting storytelling. So the world is fucked up because Raya trusted someone blindly, and so she has to learn to trust someone blindly to fix the world, which is fucked up in the first place because she trusted someone blindly. Huh? And I want to make it clear that this was hyperbole. No, of course it's not Raya's fault for being manipulated when she was just a teenager. It was more of everyone else's fault for wanting some piece of that sweet gem that lets everything go horribly wrong. Although Fang was the one that came up with the plan beforehand, while the others joining in seemed to be in the spur of the moment. But whose fault it is really not the point here. The point is, the movie showing us that Raya trusting Nymari was a bad idea. A very bad idea. It led to the apocalypse. So the decision to make the need for Raya to trust Nymari to your movie's emotional conclusion is, at best, a little schizophrenic. And still in the beginning, I have to also be a little critical of Raya's father. He is framed as being in the right for inviting everyone and asking them to trust each other and to trust him. And the other lands are framed as being egotistical and irrational. But honestly, the other people were kind of not wrong for asking questions and to find him a little sketchy. I mean, why is Hart the one land who deserves to possess the gem? They say they keep it safe and they guard it, but come on, it's in their city. They possess it. They have the thing that everyone wants too, and they heavily guard it from everyone. Hart's doing nothing different from what the chiefs are doing later with their gem hearts. So why should the other lands be okay with it? Why should they trust him? When Raya's father asks them to trust him, he asks from a position of power. And it doesn't really matter if the gem really is able to make the lands fertile or not. He has the thing that everyone's losing their minds over. He has the high ground, so he should be the one to make some concessions first, before he should ask for everyone's trust. Like, they could have set up the gem in a neutral place and let it be guarded by members of each land, for example. So the idea of the protagonist being betrayed by one person and then in the course of the movie having to learn to trust again is not a novel idea exactly. this shouldn't be too controversial. Except that Raya didn't need to learn anything, because Raya did nothing wrong. I would argue that she doesn't even have trust issues. She said multiple times in the movie that you cannot trust anyone. Sure, but the thing is, she did. She puts her trust in people if they deserve it. She trusts Boone after he helped them, she trusts Noi when she keeps her end of the bargain, and she trusts Tong even before he is confirmed to be willing to help. The only time when she arguably acts a little unreasonable is when she out of nowhere assumes that Boone may be trying to poison her and Sisu. And from our point of view, yeah, that seems a little paranoid, but I want you to remember that this is a dying world. Most of its people are effectively dead. Everyone who is left is often alone and desperate, especially as a child. So with that in mind, it isn't exactly a stretch of the imagination for Raya to believe that Boone would, maybe not trying to kill them, granted, but at least, make an Aladdin and steal from them in order to get by. Other than that, though, Raya is pretty reasonable with her trust. She denies it to Nemaari because she has never done anything to show her that she would be deserving of her trust. This is what you told me in Frozen, Disney, that Anna should give her trust to someone who proves to be worthy of it and not just the first pretty smile that smiles at her. Wait, what? But now you expect me to believe that Raya should trust Nemaari even after she betrayed her a second time? And this scene, I believe, is the one that really grinds people's gears the most. And it's easy to see why. Nemaari points a weapon at Raya, ends up shooting Sisu, and then she straight up says that it's as much Raya's fault as it was hers. Excuse me? Girl, are you good? And this is framed by the movie as valid. Although Raya was in the right all along, Nemaari was pulling the trigger. How is this even remotely Raya's fault? In fact, if she would have acted when she originally wanted to, this whole ordeal could have been prevented. Disarm her and then talk some sense into her. What's the big deal? So, no. Despite what the movie wants to tell us, Raya isn't the one who needs to change. Nemaari is. I saw some comment that suggested it wasn't Nemaari Raya was supposed to trust in the scene, but Sisu and her judgment. Okay, with regards to how the movie ends, I would be inclined to disagree, but let's take it at face value that this is the reading that they were going for. Is it right for Raya to trust Sisu's judgment? Well, no, because Sisu is always wrong. Sisu's unshakable trust and in people is rooted in two things. Those two things, however, are not at all applicable to the world that Raya and everyone else find themselves in. The first reason is that her siblings trusted her with their life, and that saved the world. Apparently. It's not really clear, I think, but it saved the world. Well, no shit. Your actual siblings who you had centuries to form a bond with trusted you. You don't say. It's a no-brainer to see that this is a completely different thing than trusting random individuals. The second reason is that Sisu comes from a different world, so to speak. She straight up skipped 500 years of people fighting over her gem. She knows how people behaved when the world was still fine before the purple obscuruses came, and she always acts under the misconception that those changed circumstances didn't change people. Which is wrong, but still we are supposed to believe that Sisu of all creatures has the perfect solution to the problem. Let's look at what happens in the movie when Sisu actually gets her way. 1. She nearly gets murdered. 2. She gets captured. 3. She actually gets murdered. And to be absolutely clear here, I don't say that this message is wrong because it contradicts how reality works. The problem is that it contradicts how the movie works. It tells us that blind trust is the bestest thing of everything that solves everything, but then it shows us time and time again how it is absolutely not. And then it shoves an ending down our throats where, never mind, now blind trust actually is the answer to all our problems. Well, sorry, this is not how storytelling works. So the last character we need to talk about is Nemaari, or precisely Nemaari's stolen redemption. I would have really liked to see a nice redemption arc for Nemaari. I love a good enemies to friends to lovers story. And it's not like Nemaari didn't deserve redemption because she was irredeemable. She was not. In the prologue, she was as much a child as Raya was. She was probably just doing all she did because of her mother's influence. And then, I guess she got caught up in everything like everyone did. It's not like she wasn't worthy of a redemption arc, the movie just didn't give her one. When she, and we, desperately needed one. Hey, remember Zootopia, a much better movie with a similar message, Hello Cat? Remember when Judy meets Gideon again, the fox that used to bully her? The first thing he does is to apologize to Judy for being such a dick when they were children. So Disney, I know from this and countless other examples that you are perfectly capable of writing apologies. Sure would have been nice to have one from Nemaari, wouldn't it? As a first step for building trust again? Maybe? No? Okay. Make a scene instead where she blames the person whose friend got shot for her friend getting shot by you. You were fucking pulling the fucking trigger, girl! In the end, Nemaari doesn't take 1 ounce of responsibility for her actions, and she's handed forgiveness without putting in any effort to earn it.
Then let me take the first step.
No, Raya, you already have. In fact, you have taken all the steps. You went all the way to her, but she hasn't done any step towards you. That's not a good message to tell someone. If you allow me to script doctor this mess a little in regards to that. First, I would have liked to see Raya and Nemaari being friends. Like, actual friends. Childhood friends for years. Because as it is now, Raya has no reason to hold on to a gift that was part of the trick. During the whole movie, she has not seen any good trait in Nemaari whatsoever. With an established real friendship before the betrayal takes place, Raya has at least a reason to believe that there might be some good in Nemaari after all, despite everything that happened. And then, because this movie is too crowded anyway, just cut out one of the locations completely and make room for a proper redemption arc for Nemaari, and subsequently a rekindling arc for Raya and Nemaari. A good friends to enemies to lovers story. I'm waiting, Disney. I'm waiting. You ignored us in Frozen 2, Disney, but we're waiting. In conclusion, I don't know, drink your tea faster, oh my god, this tea is half full. Would you look at this majestic creature? Goodbye, majestic creature. They. You wanted to go outside, now go. He has the thing that everyone's losing. Although I was right all along. Let's take it as face value that it was indeed Susie who... Habe ich Susie gesagt? Sisu. I saw some comment that suggested it wasn't Nemaari Raya. Is it right for Raya to trust not Susie? Don't say Susie. The The first reason is that they're her. It's the cat again! In the prologue, she was... Get your butt out of the frame. Thank you. No, this is not better.